Arana kori domane asa Shri Guru charane rati Aise uttama gati 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 Jai prasade pure sarva asa Jai prasade asa Jai prasade pure sarva asa Jai prasade pure sarva asa Chakko jaan dilo re janme janme prabhu se Chakko jaan dilo re janme janme prabhu Chakko jaan dilo re janme janme prabhu se Chakko jaan dilo re janme janme prabhu se Dev Gyan Hid Pukasito Dev Gyan Hid Pukasito Dev Gyan Hid Pukasito Dev Gyan Pukasito Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Avira Vinasayati Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Avira Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Avira Vinasayati Prema Bhakti Ja Hoite Avira Vinasayati Vede Jaya Rakarito Vede Jaya Rakarito O Vede Jaya Rakarito Vede Jaya Rakarito Shri Guru Karan Sindhu Ajama Jaran Bandhu Shri Guru Karan Sindhu Ajama Shri Guru Karan Sindhu Ajama Jaran Bandhu Shri Guru Karan Sindhu Ajama Jaran Bandhu Lokanath Lokara Jivana Lokanath Lokara Jivana Lokanath Lokara Jivana Lokanath Lokara Jivana Ha ha Prabhu Khora Joya Deho More Padha Chaya Ha Prabhu Khora Joya Deho More Padha Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Khora Joya Deho More Padha Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Joya Deho More Padha Ha ha Prabhu Khora Joya Deho More Padha Chaya Ha ha Prabhu Khora Joya Deho More Padha Chaya He Bijaj Situ Bhuvana He Bijaj Situ Bhuvana He Bijaj Situ Bhuvana He Bijaj Situ Bhuvana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Prabhupada Patita Pavana Srila Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada Jaya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jaya Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhu. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namah Vishnu Padaya Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastatha Distatharine Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Pastatha Distatharine Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Oh Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Ram O Nitya Go Hari Bo Hari Bo Hari Bo Nitya Gora Hari Bo Gora Hari Bo Hari Bo Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra 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 Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami Nayan Patagami Bhavatu me 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 O Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami Nayan Patagami Bhavatu me Jagannath Swami Nayan Patagami Nayan Patagami Bhavatu me O Jaya Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jaya Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jaya Subhadra Jaya Nitai Gaur Sundar Nitai Gaur Sundar Jaya Nitai Gaur Sundar Nitai Gaur Sundar Jaya Nitai Gaur Sundar Nitai Gaur Sundar Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar Nitai Gaura Sundar Gaura Sundar Jaya Nitai Gaura Sundar Nitai Gaura Sundar Gaura Sundar Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Pada Prabhupada Prabhupada Jai Prabhupada 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 Jaya Prabhupada Jai Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhuji ke Charya Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Abhay Charanarana Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki ISKCON Samstapaka Charya Srila Prabhupada ki Srila Prabhupada's Guru Puja ki Jaya Vishnupad Paramahamsa Prabhuji ke Charya Sata Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Mat Srila Prabhupada ki Ananti Koti Vaishnavrinda ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki Prem Shri Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Giridhar Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Shyamakund Radhakund Giriraj Govardhan ki Shri Vrindavan Dham ki Shri Neelachal Jagannath Puri Dham ki Shri Navadip Mayapur Dham ki Shri New Jagannath Puri Dham ki Ganga Mai ki Chamanamai ki Tulsi Devi ki Bhakti Devi ki Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki that Lordship Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Maharani ki that Lordship Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar ki Srila Prabhupada ki Nitai Go Premanande. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna. Namaste Narasingaya Praladadayene Hiranya Kashi Purvashaha Shiradangadaye Hitoni Shingo Padadoni Shingo Yato yato yabita doni shingo Paheni shingo vidadeni shingo Nara shinga marim saradam prapade Dava Gada Kavalabare Nakam Adbutta Shinga Dadita Hiradagashivo Dadoringa Deshabarita Arahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare China Shingade Keshavarita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jai Jagadish Hare Jaya Nashingare, 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 Jaya Nashingare. Jaya Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jaya Prahlad Maharaj. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Shri Lakshmi Nrsimhadev Bhagwan ki, Prahlad Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki, Go Premanande.
Hare Krishna. So, welcome to our Sunday Love Feast program. Hope all of you learned the verse. Marge brought his bag of goodies and came. So today's topic is lust and anger, coming from Lord Nrsimhadev's appearance day. So hopefully, Prabhu is going to just lead us into singing Jai Radha Madhava, and then Marge will start the class. Hare Krishna. So while Prabhu is still setting up, can we have a loud 3 Haris ball to welcome His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj? You heard the Maharaj? Oh, Maharaj didn't hear actually. Can we try again? Something was there. Maharaj still saying he can't hear actually. It may be because of his age, but I'm still saying you're going to have to get a little louder. Can we do it one more time? Really, really, really from the bottom of your lung. 1, 2, 3. Jai. Thank you.
Radhabadava Kunja Radhabadava Kunja Sarabhalabha Girivardhari Gomi Sarabhalabha Girivardhari Da Jaya Brajara Jana Yamuna Thiravarashari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Badava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Thiravarashari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Shoda da 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 Jaya Brajara Rajana Yamuna Dhiravarashari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gomi Sarabhalabha Girivardhari mi chana vallabha Shodana Jaya Brajana Jana Yamuna Dira Barashari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Baladev, Jaya Subhadra. Jaya Goranita, 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 Jaya Goranita. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Iksan Gora Haribo, 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 Iksan Gora Haribo.
Vishnupad Paramahansa Parivrajacharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki ISKCON's founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Prem Singha Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath Shamkund Radhakund Giri Govardhan Ki Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki Srila Prabhupada Ki Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki Gaur Premanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki Jai. Hare Krishna, devotees, Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. How nice, how wonderful to be here with you all again. It's really nice. It's just wonderful to get the association of nice devotees. And I don't know if you remember, well, Prabhanu Prabhu remembered from last time. Do you remember last time I was here? What was that? That was the Sunday immediately after the Easter weekend, you know, the festival weekend. So what's that like? Oh, like the 15th or 16th or something like that. And I asked if anyone knew the verse from Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 62. Do any of you remember me asking that? And you do. Do any of you remember me saying that when I come back the next time, which just happens to be now, that I would test you, and anyone who can prove they know Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 22, I would give them a prize, a present. Do you remember that? Did any of you memorize it? Put your hand up if you memorized it. Oh, really? Okay. Okay, well, we brought, I don't know, probably 50 prizes, or maybe even a little more, but I'm sure not less, because I thought, well, anyway, we'll just see how it goes. But anyone who remembers, we will give you either where are they? Either a very nice bead bag, well, okay, and that's the little one. Oh, okay, a bead bag, yeah. See this, look at this. It's a beautiful bead bag. It is second hand. It's a used bead bag, but it's a nice one. It's got a lot more use left in it. Or alternatively, a Nrsinga Pavitram. Look at this. From Mayapur. Anyone who actually remembers, I think I'll just put it on. Anyway, just to prove it. Yeah. So, okay, at some point, maybe at the end, anyway, I'll just see, but at some point, those who would like, you could have this very one. Look at this. It's just so beautiful. It's amazing. And so much transcendental potency. Oh my Lord, this is so powerful. If you're not careful, it'll knock you over when you wear it. But no, really, it's just beautiful. From Mayapur, from Lord Nrsinga Dev himself. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So I was requested, ordered, instructed to say something about lust and anger. You might remember last time I was here, at least, like I said, a couple of weeks ago, 2 or 3, that we talked about Bhukti and mukti. Do you remember that? Sense gratification and the desire for liberation. So I was asked this time to say some words about lust and anger. Very important subjects. Very important, because in Bhagavad Gita later on, and I think it's chapter 16 or thereabouts, Lord Krishna makes the point that you have to become free from lust, anger, and greed. He mentions the three of them. Otherwise, if you're under the control of lust, anger, and greed, then you can get into great trouble spiritually. You'll not make progress. At best, you will not make progress. At worst, you may go backwards spiritually very fast. So devotees, though, seeing we asked you all to try and memorize Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 62, and seeing we are going to test whoever is willing to come forward, and whoever gets it right will get, something nice. Something very nice. So I thought, what verse should we read today? Oh, what about Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 62? Sounds like a good idea. A relevant verse. All right, so here we go. We'll actually read chapter 2 verse 62 and verse 63, because they go together basically. So here we go. This is chapter 2, Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 62. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate. I remember when I was a new devotee, I'm still a new devotee, but when I was an even newer devotee, sometimes we would have competitions in class, like Bhagavatam class, sometimes, more Bhagavatam, but sometimes Bhagavad Gita. How many times do you need to hear a verse to memorize it? Yeah. Let's do this a few times, this verse, and see if you can memorize it. Yeah. Particularly if you're young, it shouldn't be so hard. Young, what's young? Under 60. That's young. If you're under 60, you should be able to memorize. Okay, so repeat after me. Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodho bijayate dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate Sangat sanjayate kama. Kamat krodo bijayate. Got it? 3 times, 6 times, you should be able to remember almost anything. All right, anyway, let's just carry on. Translation. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. And from such attachment, lust develops. And from lust, anger arises. That's the translation. And let me just read the next verse, chapter 2, verse 63, because they do go together, basically. Krodhad bhavati samoha, samohat, smriti vibrama, smriti brahmshad, buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat, pranashyati. Translation. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. So these are 2 very sort of foundational verses about life and how to live and how not to live. Let me read the purport of verse 62, 62, the first of these 2 verses. One who is not Krishna conscious is subjected to material desires while contemplating the objects of the senses. The senses require real engagements. And if they are not engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord, they will certainly seek engagement in the service of materialism. In the material world, everyone, including Lord Shiva and Lord Brahma, to say nothing of other demigods in the heavenly planets, is subjected to the influence of sense objects. And the only method to get out of this puzzle of material existence is to become Krishna conscious. Lord Shiva was deep in meditation, but when Parvati agitated him for sense pleasure, he agreed to the proposal, and as a result, Kartikeya was born. When Haridas Thakur was a young devotee of the Lord, he was similarly allured by the incarnation of Maya Devi. But Haridas easily passed the test because of his unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. As illustrated in the above-mentioned verse of Sri Yamun Acharya, a sincere devotee of the Lord shuns all material sense enjoyment due to his higher taste for spiritual enjoyment in the association of the Lord. That is the secret of success. One who is not, therefore, in Krishna consciousness however powerful he may be in controlling the senses by artificial repression, is sure ultimately to fail. For the slightest thought of sense pleasure will agitate him to gratify his desires. Could you close a couple of windows over there? I'm going to get blown out of the window on this side if we don't close a couple of windows. Okay, so let me read these two verses again. Jayato vishayam pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodo bijayate. While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust anger arises. And verse 63, Krodhad bhavati samoha, samohat smriti vibrama, smriti brahmshad buddhi nasho, buddhi nashat pranashyati. From anger, complete delusion arises, and from delusion, bewilderment of memory. When memory is bewildered, intelligence is lost. And when intelligence is lost, one falls down again into the material pool. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarane Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivas Adi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha, Kripa Sindhubhya evacha, Patitanam Pavanebhyo, Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Yes, right. So this is very important subject matter. It's something I think maybe we don't talk about enough. Yeah, lust and anger, the dangers which face a devotee, someone who's trying to practice and develop their Krishna consciousness. You know, I mentioned that other verse later on in Bhagavad Gita. Let me just track it down. About, oh, here it is. Look at that. Let me just get the Sanskrit. There it is. Tri vidam narakasyedam dwaram nashanam atmana. Kama krodas tata lobas tasmad etat trayam tyajet. Means there are 3 gates leading to hell. Well, actually Krishna has been talking about hell, so he actually says there are 3 gates leading to this hell. Means the hell he's been talking about in the last few verses. But in a general sense, there are 3 gates leading to hell: lust, anger, and greed. Every sane man and also sane woman, not just men, every sane person should give these up, for they lead to the degradation of the soul. Well, yes, like I said, these subjects, lust and anger and greed here also, why not? Greed, these are very foundational problems for devotees, for people in general for that matter, but particularly here for devotees. One time, Srila Prabhupada was speaking, or one devotee was speaking with Prabhupada, they were speaking together. And the devotee said to Srila Prabhupada, you know, Srila Prabhupada, this Krishna consciousness is so nice. It's so nice. It was a male devotee, young man. He said, this Krishna consciousness is so nice. I don't feel any attraction anymore for women. And Srila Prabhupada said, oh, there's something wrong with you? You take that however you like. But the bottom line is, it's not common to find men or women who truly have actually no attraction, shall we say, for the opposite sex. Yeah. Of course, nowadays, it's become a bit fashionable, I think, among some people at least, maybe just in America, because, you know, America, to be attracted to the same sex. But anyway, we are traditionalists here. Let us just say, to the opposite sex. So Prabhupada said like that. Yeah. In other words, for anyone to really look you in the eye straight and say that means, you know, they're pretty convinced. It's not so common, not so very common, because we've been living in this material world a long time, and these types of attractions, they're just so incredibly, just so totally common. They're just so completely common, and it's not just amongst the humans, it's amongst all the different species. The animals, they're attracted. Even animals, some animals that we would think they look strange. How could they be attractive, you know, in that sense to another member of the same species, like a rhinoceros or a hippopotamus? They just look kind of odd. They certainly, I mean, by our standards, they don't look like beautiful or handsome. You know what I mean? But don't worry. They're attracted to each other. They really are. And because of that, the hippopotamus population is not decreasing because they're attracted, and therefore they get involved and the population increases. So that's material life. That's life within this world. And of course, Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means we're trying to get out of this world. We're trying to become free from these things. Actually, we're trying to become completely free from these things. But there's a saying, I think it's quite applicable: old habits die hard. You've heard that, and it's true, isn't it? Old habits die hard, and we're very habituated to these things. So what to do? What to do? The other day, I sort of, what would you say? I tried to kind of trick you. I don't know if you remember. I read this verse 62. Jayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangasteshu Pajayati Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kamat Krodo Pajayate. And I gave the translation as, while contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them, and from such attachment lust develops, and from lust happiness arises. And that sounds good, doesn't it? Does that sound nice? Do you like that? You don't like that? Do you agree? Who agrees with that? No. So from lust, anger arises. Krishna is explaining here the base, how it works, the step-by-step process, which brings you to that point of actually engaging in some lusty activity. First of all, you contemplate. We're all moving around in the world, and we seeing this and seeing that, and there are billboards, and there are people moving around, and you can't blind yourself. That won't work. But so we get exposed to things, at least from time to time, things which are attractive according to what we are used to, and what our tastes are. There was a devotee named Kushakrata Prabhu, a Sanskrit scholar. He passed away some years ago, before COVID, but he was very eccentric. And his name, before initiation, his name was Peter. And because he was just too eccentric, the devotees called him Crazy Peter. Yeah, to his face. He was Crazy Peter, because he was kind of Crazy Peter, actually. He would do weird things. Like he'd come into the temple room and lie down. Haribol. So it's just a bit crazy. So anyway, he got initiation. Prabhupada gave him initiation. And Srila Prabhupada asked him, so what are the 4 regulative principles? And he responded with the regulative principles. No illicit sex life, no intoxication, no meat eating, no gambling. And Prabhupada looked at him and said, what is your favorite? So you think about it. What's your favorite? Prabhupada was just joking with him. But everyone has their favorite. And usually, or at least more often than not, attraction to the opposite sex is pretty much the favorite, or at least extremely close. But I think it's generally just the favorite. So you contemplate, you look around, and you see, and then you see something which is the type of thing that generally you're sort of attracted to. So then, you focus on it a bit. That's what Krishna says. First of all, you contemplate, then the person develops attachment for it. That means a focus. And there's a decision that, oh yes, I want that. A decision like that. So then, from that decision, that attachment that I want this, then Krishna says lust develops. And in terms of the sequence here, lust developing means that you actually try to get it and try to enjoy it. That's like you manifest the lust actively. So then you try and enjoy it, whether it's a member of the opposite sex or whatever it is, the particular thing which has caught your fancy. But then what is the result? What is the result? You smoke maybe, let's not just talk about the opposite sex. What about cigarettes? You all know people who smoke cigarettes, I'm sure. So a person smokes a cigarette, and then not too long after, they smoke another cigarette. They get something. It's not like they get nothing from it at all. They get something from it, but it's not very much. And it doesn't give like really sustained pleasure. Just for a little while. So then you got to do it again. That's how the whole system works. That these things look very good, and you become attracted and attached, and then you must get it. But when you've got it, and you really sort of got into it, then you find, it wasn't as good as what I was hoping for or expecting or hoping for. Because we are spiritual. That's the first lesson of Bhagavad Gita, that we're all eternal spiritual persons. We are not these bodies, but all these enjoyable things, they are material, like the cigarette. It's just some, what would you say, some dry leaves. It's not something very beautiful. Yeah. So you smoke it, and you get some experience, but it's not that much. Or at least we feel it as not being that much, because we are spiritual. And what we are looking for, what we are hankering for, and what deep within us is what we know will actually satisfy us and make us truly happy on an ongoing basis, extended basis. This is something spiritual, because we're spiritual. Because we're spiritual, we're all spirit souls. We need something spiritual to give us real enjoyment, to give us real pleasure, and to actually give us real satisfaction. Otherwise, everything else, just trying to enjoy material things, the experience will always fall short. It'll always fall short and leave you thinking like, what was that? Not such a big deal. That's the problem of material life, that matter, material things, do not have the Shakti, the potency, the power to really address the need which is there within our hearts as eternal spiritual persons. So we need something spiritual. Otherwise it's just a lifetime of dissatisfaction. And really, a shortage of real happiness. Yes, so in fact, Lord Krishna, let me read another verse. It's 2:59. It's just a couple of verses before the ones we read. Chapter 2, verse 59. And it's a very important verse. Vishaya vinavartante niraharasya dehina Rasa varjam rasopyasya param drishtva nivartate. And the translation, the embodied soul may be restricted from sense enjoyment, although the taste for sense objects remains, but ceasing such engagements by experiencing a higher taste, he is fixed in consciousness. This is sort of the secret, you could say, the solution, you could say, that, well, as Krishna is putting it here in this verse, that a person may be restricted somehow from enjoying or trying to enjoy the usual things that they usually try to enjoy. You know, just as an example, someone may be locked up. Well, there are two types of examples. Someone may be locked up in jail. We sincerely hope it doesn't happen to you. But anyway, someone gets locked up in jail, and when you're locked up in jail, you can't do the usual things, whatever they may be, which you felt were those things which would give you happiness, but you can't do them. All you can do is just sort of sit around all day. And the other example is if you get sick. If you really get sick, extremely sick, like if you get COVID, a really bad case of COVID, or something like that. Maybe if you get, you're involved in a traffic accident and your body gets broken, some broken bones and things, then you can't do the things which you would normally do, which you would feel or think or expect or hope would give you happiness. You're restricted. But the thing is, the taste remains. The basic desire, the basic inclination, the basic conviction that actually it would be good to do those things, even though you can't do them now. So therefore, when the people get well, if they're sick, or if they're in jail, I mean, it's much less common, but it definitely happens, then when they get over the sickness, or when they get out of the jail, what do? They go straight and do those things immediately. I mean, in some cases, straight to the bar and have a good few drinks. Straight, like that. Because the taste remains. That idea, that feeling has remained in the heart, that even though I can't get it because of my situation, but it's good and I must get it. When I can, I must and I will get it. But then it's the same situation. They're not satisfied. They get something out of it, but not so much. So therefore, Krishna says here, if you stop doing those things through experiencing a higher taste, then you become fixed in consciousness. And that's Krishna consciousness, actually. That we all of us, we had our material attachments. I will not ask any of you how many of you were smoking. I will not ask any of you if you ever had a drink of mainstay or something. You know what I mean. I will not ask any of you if you ever ate meat. Anyway, you know what your past is. But the thing is, when one takes to Krishna consciousness, because Krishna consciousness is spiritual. We are spiritual. Krishna consciousness is spiritual. So when we become absorbed in Krishna consciousness, then we experience a higher taste. And I think perhaps all of us, or at least so many of us, we've had clear experience of that. So then you can become fixed. Then you can become fixed. I know some people from some other traditions. In fact, I've talked with one, I won't mention the tradition, but one of the big traditions, and he was asking me about celibacy. And I have lived as a celibate for a little over 50 years, actually, in fact, as an actual celibate. So he was asking me, and I said, yeah, like that. Well, it was some years ago, but so many years, yes, I've lived celibate. And he said, I don't believe you. I don't believe you. It's not possible. That's what he told me. Like I'm lying to him or something along those lines. And how is that? Well, you know how that is, because he or they are not getting a higher taste, and therefore they are still engaging in those things. Yeah. And, you know, they're too prejudiced to think that people could follow a different process, but actually become free from these things. To them it's like, it does not compute. Yeah, so you wouldn't accept it, but it's true. It's true. So anyway, devotees, what we need to do, because I know that these things bother all of us sometimes. Don't any of you dare try and tell me lust and anger never bother you ever. If you do, like Prabhupada said to that devotee, I'll ask you, is something wrong with you? Well, these things, because we're conditioned. We're conditioned by this material world, and old habits die hard. So, you know, but you've got to carry on. And you're all carrying on, because I know so many of you, and I know you're carrying on for many years. So the answer is to really dive deeply into the practice of Krishna consciousness, means spiritual activity, activities which are in harmony with what we actually are, and they're activities which we actually need to do, and when we do them, then we do become satisfied. Yeah. So that's really the point, ultimately. We have to really dive deep into practicing Krishna consciousness, particularly chanting the holy names. Srila Prabhupada once, it's actually, if you've got Prabhupada's books on computer, you can look it up. A devotee asked Prabhupada, how do you know when or if your chanting is of a good quality? And Prabhupada initially didn't answer. He just said, you'll know when it is of good quality. You'll just know. But the devotee sort of persisted. And Prabhupada said, you will know when your chanting is of good quality when, after you finish 16 rounds, you think, Why just 16? Why not 16,000? Like that, Prabhupada said. Then you know your chanting's of good quality. But anyway, carry on, keep going. Yeah, and watch out for anger. Let me just conclude. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi, Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki Jai. And where am I here? Oops, Krishna. Let me just conclude by reading you something from Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, to get freedom from anger, one should learn how to forgive. How's that? Something for you to think about. And Prabhupada, actually Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 11, verse 32 says, Ye no pasrishtat purushal loka udvijate brisham nabodas tadvasham gached ichan abhayam atmana, which means a person who desires liberation from this material world should not fall under the control of anger, because when bewildered by anger, one becomes a source of dread for others. And Prabhupada explains that in a certain sense, anger can be more dangerous than lust. Anyway, they're friends. They go together. From lust, anger arises. If you meet someone and they're angry, they're they're angry people. They're prone to anger. Then you can just immediately understand, aha, here we have a lusty person. Yes. Because the two, they're a team. They're a team, yeah. You got lust, you got anger. You got anger, you got lust. And we have to look at ourselves like that and really absorb ourselves in Krishna consciousness, because then you can get a higher taste. Then you will get a higher taste. And when you get the higher taste, well, Yamunacharya said, before he became the big Acharya, the great devotee, he was a king. And he was one of these kings, not like Charles III yesterday, right? And I promise you, I didn't watch it on TV. It's crazy, totally. But Yamunacharya, he was the other type of king. He was just a big enjoyer. He could just, buy anything, buy people. Whatever you want, you just got it. And particularly he was interested in ladies. So he wrote a verse, it's a famous verse, that when I was young, that I used to think that all these things with the opposite sex, I used to think this is really just the best. It's just the best. But now I've got a taste for your lotus feet, my Lord, for chanting and engaging in devotional service. When I think about how I used to do these things with the ladies in the past, he says, my lips curl in distaste, like, ugh, and I spit at the thought. That's a very advanced level. When you get up to the spitting at the thought level, you're really doing good. But anyway, keep at it. Keep trying your best. And you'll make progress, and higher taste will come, and then it'll become so clear that this Krishna consciousness is the solution to being caught up in this material world. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So devotees, for those of you who learnt Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 62 and are ready to recite it, what we'll do, I think should we do it now or have the kirtan? Everyone will go. Okay. Who is going to be brave enough to come up and speak Bhagavad Gita chapter 2 verse 62? We got one. Oh, they can stay where they are. All right, so we have one. Rasa Mandala Prabhu, go for it. It's not on.
Dayaya yato vishavan pumsaha sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjaya te kamaha kamat krodo vijayate.
Well done. Applause. What would you like? You can have either, you can have this one or a bead bag or a different one. You want this one? There you go. Come on. Good on you. That's great. Well done. And here goes. Oh, okay. Sri Lakshmi Nrsimha Devi Dasi, go ahead.
Dhyayato vishayan pumsa sangasteshu pajayate sangat sanjayate kama kamat krodo bijayate.
Well done. So,
Gurudev, should I say the translation as well?
Oh, you can, of course.
While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. From such attachment, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises.
Well done. So what would you like? Just come over and take your choice. You can have a second-hand bead bag or a second-hand pavatram, a big one, a small one. What would you like? A second, any particular one? I've used that, yes, definitely. Hare Krishna. Good on you. Ram Gopal? Right, here we go.
Tayaso visaya pumsad sangaste sobachayate kamat kroda sangat sanjayate kama kroda bijayate.
Well done. Thank you. What would you like? Do you want a pavatram?
So, Jagannath Prabhu also was, remember the verse.
Oh, okay, great. Just a sec. Do you want a bead bag or a pavatram? Look at this. Hare Krishna. You know, this, like 10, 15 years ago, we decided to make these for every GBC member in these colors, and this is my one. So, wait. Don't start thinking you're a GBC member. Well done. Very good. Yes.
Vyayata Vishayan Pumsaha Sangat Teshu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Karma Krodha Vijayate.
Whoa, very good. What would you like? What would you like? A saffron bead bag. Okay, look at this. That's nice. Look at that. Bunky Bihari. Well done. So now, Mataji.
Dhyayatvo Visayan Pumsa Sangaste Supajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamat Krodo Bijayate.
Oh, wonderful! We got some real scholars here. Another
Hare Krishna.
is coming.
Dayato Vishahan Pumsam Sangasteshu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayata Kama Krodha Abhijayate.
As they get older, the memory gets stronger. Yes, sir. A pavitram or a bead bag? Pavitram. Thank you. Well done. Oh, okay.
Jayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangas Desu Bajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krido Bijayate.
Well done. What would you like? A bead bag? Look at this. Sure.
I am Pumsa Sangas Teshu Bijayate Kama Sangat Sanjayate Kama Krodhat Bijayate.
Well done. Well done. What would you like? We got a pavitram or a bead bag. What would you like? Pavitram from Mayapur. Well done. Hare Krishna.
Dayato Vishayan Pumsa Sangastesu Upajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Krodha Vijayate.
Very good. Ooh, look at this. What would you like? A bead bag. Okay. Hare Krishna. Well done. No one else? They're too scared. Okay. No one else. No last run. Look at this. A super duper pavitram. No? No takers? Okay. Oh, okay. Krishna. Prabhuji. Oh. Okay. It's a saffron one. Okay, he knows the translation. Loud and clear. Where's the...
While contemplating the objects of the senses, a person develops attachment for them. On such attachments, lust develops, and from lust, anger arises.
Oh, well done. What would you like?
Lord wishing it is.
Oh, Palacha. Good work. Okay. Kirtan. All right. So we can all stand up for the kirtan. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi ki. Sure.
Shivate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nityanamine Saraswati Devi Godavani Pracharine Nivishesha Shunyavari Asyatyari Shataharine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivadhari Gaura Bhakta Veda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivadhari Gaura Bhakta Veda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivadhari Gaura Bhakta Veda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jai Jagannath Jai Jagannath Jai Baladeva Jai Subhadra Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jai Jagannath, Jai Jagannath, Jai Baladeva, Jai Subhadra. Jagannath Swami Nayana Patagami Nayana Patagami Baba Tome 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 Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Nisai Gauranga, Nisai Gauranga, Nisai Gauranga, Gaurari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaurari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaurari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaurari, Gaura, Gaura, Gaurari. Jai Satchidananda Gaurari, Jai Satchidananda Gaurari, Jai Satchidananda Gaurari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Madhare, Jaya Lumada. Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Jagannath, Jaya Madhare, Jaya Lumada. Jaya Gaura-nita, 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 Jaya Gaura-nita. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Tulsi Maharani. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Prabhupada. Nitya Gaura-niva, Haribo, Haribo, Nitya Gaura-niva.
Jai Vishnupad Paramahansa Pardavrajacharya Sisamad, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada Ki, ISKCON Svandaracharya Srila Prabhupada Ki, Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki, Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki, Prem Sighas Krishna Chaitanya Prabhupada, Sri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda, Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopinath, Shamkund Radhakund Gidi Govardhan Ki, Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki, Shri Mayapur Dham Ki, Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki, Shri Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Devi Ki, Shri Shri Nitai Gaura Sundar Ki, Srila Prabhupada Ki, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Ki, Gaur Premanande. All glories to the Sama devotees, all glories to the Sama devotees, all glories to the Sama devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Sri Gauranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Namaste Narasindhaya. Hiranyakashipu Bhakshaha Shilatam Kanakalaye Tony Singha Para Tony Singha Yato Yato Yamita Tony Singha Bahir Singha Ridai Singha Narasingha Madhyam Sharanam Prapatye Tavakara Kamala Vale Nakama Gota Sringam Dalita Hiranyakashipu Tanu Brindam Keshavadita Nala Hari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Savadita Nala Hari Rupa Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Jai Jagadisha Hare Listen the day Listen the day Jai Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev, Nrsimhadev, Jai Nrsimhadev. Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Jai Prahlad Maharaj. Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ke, Shri Prahlad Maharaj ke, Srila Prabhupada ke, Gaur Premanande, Haribol, Haribol, Haribol.
His Holiness Bhakti Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki, Srila Prabhupada ki. So please, Prashadam is being served downstairs in the hall. Once again, I humbly request that those elder devotees be given an opportunity first, and then everyone else can follow. Thank you. Hare Krishna.